What is good, y'all? Welcome back to Chris and Ralph Productions. I'm Chris, and this is the third episode of Chris and Ralph Times DC News Talk. That sounds good, right? All right, so today a massive bomb was dropped on the DCU about the future for Wonder Woman and Gal Gadot, which you already see right here on the screen. We're also going to get into some Blue Beetle talk and some speculations regarding Jaime Reyes and his future in the DCU, some DCU potential theatrical animated movies, as well as Aquaman's release date, kind of like a confirmation, but we shall see what happens to that in the future. But first, I want to get into this Gal Gadot news. So today it was released, an interview was released by comicbook.com that they did back in June for a film that Gal Gadot is promoting that she's in. And basically, Gal Gadot says they are developing a new Wonder Woman movie in James Gunn's DCU. Right here, there's a shot from her from Wonder Woman 1984, which I enjoyed, but yeah, there's a lot of story issues. But let's go ahead and get into this Gal Gadot news. All right, so the DC universe is on a film in a new direction under James Gunn and Peter Safran, which we already know it's going to be a soft reboot, sort of. I think that's what it's going to end up being because we're getting Peacemaker, we're getting Amanda Waller, and apparently we're getting Gal Gadot back. Right here, basically the quote was by Gal Gadot talking about Wonder Woman. She stated, "I love portraying Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. It's so close to and dear to my heart. From what I have heard from James and Peter is that we're going to develop a Wonder Woman 3 together." All right, so what does that mean? So a couple of things, my takeaways from this. First of all, a lot of people are already upset because obviously they got rid of Henry Cavill for right now. They got rid of Ben Affleck for right now. So, excuse me. So there was already speculations that they're going to get rid of Gal Gadot. Why would they keep her out of the Trinity if they get rid of the other two? Well, she's going to continue. And this is from Gal Gadot herself, way back and what like in February. James Gunn obviously getting a bunch of questions online about the DCU, and they asked him about Gal Gadot. He stated that they met with Gal and that they're in talks. But basically, he confirmed it months ago. But it's never been actually. Gal Gadot has never come out and said, "Yeah, I'm gonna continue to be Wonder Woman." Because I had did a reel well over a month ago, basically stating how she in an interview she stated that she was ready to move on in a way and to focus on other projects. So basically, the way that the internet and myself took it is that she was kind of hanging up the mantle on the Wonder Woman and moving on, but that's not the case. She's going to continue to be Wonder Woman. I have her McFarlane figure right there, really really good figure. This is from the Shazam movie, Shazam: Fury of the Gods. And yeah, I think Wonder Woman's portrayal, Gal Gadot's portrayal, Wonder Woman, I thoroughly enjoyed. She hasn't had the best projects that she's been in because of the 2017 Justice League, Wonder Woman 84, Wonder Woman 2017 is wonderful. The third act there is a third act issue, but it's whatever. And then the cameos that she's been in Flash and Shazam, I thought they were pretty good cameos, but there's a lot more on the table for the Wonder Woman story. And we already know that James Gunn is developing a Amazonian project. It's going to be a series on Max. So I'm curious for that mascara show. The mascara, like, is Gal Gadot going to pop up in it? I think it's a prequel to her. So to Diana being born, I believe. So we shall see. What are your thoughts on this Gal Gadot news? I think it's pretty good. I like her as Wonder Woman. The only criticism that I have is that it is going to be confusing for people who are going into the new DCU, who are expecting to see the trinity of Cavill, Affleck, and Gadot together, but they're only going to get Gadot with Corrin Sweat and then whoever the Batman is for Brave and the Bold. Um, if you're watching this, we're in a small circle of a fandom that we focus on this almost on a daily basis. So for the average fan who's going to be going to the theaters, it is going to be confusing for them, in my opinion. But I believe in James Gunn and Peter Safran, and I'm very, very have a lot of faith that they're going to figure it out. But yeah, that's pretty much all the Wonder Woman news for today. A massive, massive, news drop right there. I want to go ahead and get into this Aquaman news. So in a I believe in an interview that Variety did with the director of Blue Beetle, they went ahead and dropped this little nugget in the article, stating that Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom plans to keep its December 20th release date. I know last week, no, a little bit more than a week ago, it came out that they were considering moving Aquaman further back into like 2024. And that would have been another massive delay for this movie that's been getting delayed. My personal opinion on this: just release the movie. They have already done what, 4 rounds of reshoots, I think. They've already put so much money into this film. The first one made $1 billion in a December release date, so it doesn't hurt to try to strike, go for twice, go for it again. Do I believe this movie's going to make $1 billion? I don't know. The last handful of DC movies have not done well in the box office, so I am curious on how that is going to have an impact on Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. But I'm beyond stoked for this film. Going into this year, it was my second most anticipated movie after Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So, I absolutely love the first Aquaman. I've seen it so many times. It's in my top three DCEU movies, so I'm curious on how this is going to play out. If they're going to wrap up his story, or if he's going to continue. So before this Gal Gadot news dropped, I was convinced that they were going to move on from Jason Momoa as Aquaman, but had confidence that he was going to continue to be in the DCU just as someone else. After this Gal Gadot news, I think they're going to probably continue with Jason Momoa as Aquaman. But we shall see. I hope this news right here solidifies it that it's coming out in December 20th, because they've delayed it so many times. Just release the damn movie, in my opinion. But let's go ahead and get into some Blue Beetle news. So this was a article by Variety where they interviewed Angel Manuel Soto, who is the director of Blue Beetle. And basically, I think this is a really good read. I did read through it earlier today. And one thing that I really wanted to focus on is this quote from him discussing about Blue Beetle right here. I'm going to go ahead and just give this a quick read. In addition to in addition to being the first film under the guidance of the new DCU, Blue Beetle marks the first Latino superhero character for Warner Brothers, and that's something that I've been posting on social medias, on Instagram. I'll drop that link down below if you want to give that a follow. But as a Mexican American, I am beyond excited to see a Mexican American Latino led movie, because the comic book superhero genre is my absolute favorite. I watch the movies all the time. I read the comics all the time. This is my sports. I enjoy this. This is what I love to do. Um, and to have finally have the first led Latino superhero movie, I think is going to be wonderful. Whether the movie's going to be good or not, I mean, that's up to the audience and my whenever I watch it, up to me whenever I see it. But going into it, I'm just already have that in my mind that, this is the first time, so let's go ahead and give this a watch. Right here in a quote, he said, Soto might be echoing a line spoken by his lead character, Jaime Reyes. And it's seen in Blue Beetle where he yells in despair, "This shit doesn't get better for us." And I think, this movie's gonna really focus on the Latino, Hispanic, Mexican American, household. I know I'm gonna be laughing at probably a lot of the inside jokes that they're gonna be making because of like that household. So I think this is a great read if you want to give this a take a look at it. It's basically his journey through Hollywood, him being like a Latino director and him getting this opportunity. So I just wanted to highlight this article. This is the article that talks about the Aquaman release date, but it's a real quick line at the bottom. Some more Blue Beetle news. Hopefully this plays the audio. But Jolaman and Joya, they asked him during an interview with Fandango, Jesus, if he was going to continue to be Jaime Reyes in James Gunn's DCU. And this is pretty much what he had to say. I hope it plays with the. Okay. It's very true. His projections was low, but I'll be there day one to watch it. So yeah, right there. Pause. Okay, cool. So yeah, I mean, James Gunn has said it multiple times that Jaime Reyes is going to continue to be Blue Beetle in his DCU. But like what Joel Manjoya, what he pointed out is that it's going to also, hinder on the box office, which does scare me a bit because the projections are super, super low. So I hope it does decent. I don't know if it will or not, but Ralph and I, we're gonna be there day one. We're gonna be out there supporting this movie. I'm gonna try to do what I can with my with our small following, just to promote this film because I think it deserves it. You already know my opinion on this. Um, but Blue Beetle releases August 18th, which is 2 weeks from tomorrow. Tomorrow is August 3rd, so 2 weeks from tomorrow, we finally get to see this in theaters. When it was announced, I was like, oh wow, they're doing a Blue Beetle movie. It's going to be on Max or HBO Max at the time with Batgirl. Obviously, Batgirl got axed, which was a Latino led superhero movie. And that sucked a bunch because I was looking forward to seeing their take on Batgirl. But that they're gonna keep Blue Beetle. They didn't axe it, and they also didn't just axe it. They upgraded it to theatrical, so that gave me a lot of faith in this movie. That when they decided to do that, I haven't read anything about any early reactions because I know a bunch of people have already seen it, like influencers, but I haven't read any reactions. I don't think they're allowed to put it out yet. But Blue Beetle, I hope it's good. We shall see. And the last DCU news that I wanted to get into is just some animated stuff. So, in an article by Screen Rant, they did an article talking about the Justice League World War movie, which is a new animated movie from the DC, with the director and the producers and all that. And there was one quote that I wanted to get into pertaining to Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come, you already know, is a famous DC storyline. Beautiful, beautiful artwork by Alex Ross. And yeah, and the quote, the Jim Craig or Krieg, they basically asked him about developing other movies and Kingdom Come. He said, "Well, we'll put it in the hopper." Someone stated, "We originally talked about Kingdom Come after this, which is the movie that they're promoting, but changing regimes wouldn't go forward with anything like that." So they obviously DC animated movies. They're always trying to find ways to push the envelope in terms of the stories that they're trying to tell, the adaptations, sometimes panel by panel, other times their own take on it. And I think seeing a Kingdom Come animated movie would have been badass. Um, but they had to scrap it because of the changing regime. So there's two things I take from it. One, it probably just got scrapped because James Gunn and Peter Safran have no plans for Kingdom Come. Or two, it got scrapped because they have live action plans for Kingdom Come. We already know that all things movies, shows, video games, animation, everything like that is all going to be tied. So they don't want to develop a Kingdom Come story and then have to have it be canon years from now whenever they eventually do a Kingdom Come, which is what they're going to end up leading to. But we shall see. And the last thing is also about animated movies. So it was announced that DC Animated are going to be releasing two future films. Let's get this to load. Two future films, which is going to be Watchmen and Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earth, which are two great reads. Especially Watchmen, I'm rereading it for the so many time. It's such a great read. Someone asked him, "Are these part of the DCU?" James Gunn simply said no. And then another person asked him, "But can we expect theatrical animated projects for your universe in the future or no?" James Gunn said yes. So this is actually pretty dope news because the last DC animated movie that we got in theaters was Super Pets, which was it was a fine kids movie. It was cool, but obviously it wasn't anything groundbreaking. It was just a little kid superhero movie. Well, was fine. That's what it was developed for. But for James Gunn's DCU, Peter Safran's DCU, for them to have theatrical budgets for these DC animated movies, which already look amazing, I am totally in for this idea. Something that I want to see live action. I want to see a live action Justice League Dark. But let's say we don't get a Justice League Dark, at least right now. I think a theatrical animated movie would be badass. I know Swamp Thing is already being developed for his for that live action movie, so maybe he ties into this. I'm just speculating. I'm just spitballing here. But I would definitely like to see some DC animated movies on the big screen. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. I'll just go through a run through of everything we talked about. Gal Gadot back as Wonder Woman 3, back as Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 3 developed by her, James Gunn. Aquaman apparently is going to keep its release date. Blue Beetle and his future in the DCU, we shall tell based on box office, but I think they're going to continue. But even, if the results are good or not, um, uh, DC animated movies are going to be coming to the not live action, theatrical. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, guys, that is pretty much it. That's all I have for today. Please like, share, and subscribe. We do appreciate the support that we have been getting on our channel. Like mentioned at the top, this is our third episode for this DC times Chris and Ralph. I'm still working on that title. I've been working on it since episode 1, but I'll think of something. But guys, we do appreciate the support. Until next time, I'm Chris. Peace.